31.
On the 30 briefly, but
3182.
31. Well, yeah, sorry. We're going to pick up with 31A1. Right? Well, sort of right at the end of 31A1. Okay. What do we have at the end of 31A1? So we have the following. So we went through all of the shiros, right? All of the shir shayom that we say for each day of the week, and we explained why. What's the connection between the day of the week and the shir shayom? We spoke about all of them, but we didn't mention Shabbos. So we're going to pick up there where the shir shayom talks about Shabbos. Bashvi'i hayu omrim. It's literally.
I'm over here.
What? Literally the last line by the gray bar. Bashvi'i hayu omrim mizmor shir liyom hashabbos. Right? What was it? We said mizmor shir liyom hashabbos liyom shekulo Shabbos. To a yom which is kulo Shabbos. What does it mean, a yom which is kulo Shabbos? Now we're on 31A2. What is a yom which was kulo Shabbos? Interesting. What does that mean? So there is a Gemara in Maseches Sanhedrin that understands the reference to Shabbos from the perspective of days of, we say there are 6 days of the week, and Shabbos is the 7th day. So how many years? So a day for us is 24 hours. What's the length of a day for HaKadosh Baruch Hu? 1,000 years. We say 1,000 years is the length of a day for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where do we get that from? Correct. Tehillim, it says, Ki elef shanim, ki yom esmo, ki yamur. 1,000 years is like yesterday. Excuse me, it's like yesterday that is past. So if we say that each day is 1,000 years, so that means that after 6,000 years, there is going to be a Shabbos, right? And that Shabbos is going to be a period of 1,000 years in which everything will lie, everything will cease, and then we'll usher in the time of Mashiach. Now, I'm not 100% sure how that is supposed to play out. I don't understand exactly how that's supposed to play out.
At the end of the 7th day or end of the 6th day?
Mashiach is at the end of the 7th. He's at the end of the 7th.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that was the end of the 6th. I thought it was the end of the 6th.
No, the Gemara actually says that there will be 1,000 years where everything the way we understand it ceases to be. Right? That is the Shabbos. Right? The Shabbos is the Yom Shekulo Shabbos. That is Shabbos.
Gog and Magog after the 6th.
Right.
I think Gog and Magog is prior to the 7th.
Is there a consensus on
I
that?
think, is there a consensus
Like
on
a
this?
Gemara consensus? Like what's going to happen? And
No, there is. We don't have a consensus of when Mashiach is going to come. Obviously, if we knew when Mashiach was going to come, that would be a whole different portion. We don't know when Mashiach is going to come, and there's no consensus.
But even these like
there is this idea, which is accepted in our tradition, that the world is going to exist for 6,000 years. And then for 1,000 years, the world is going to cease to exist as we know it.
But if the world at large sees that, then they'll know that, like in Elaine knew that God has made his presence known, that the world is really the way
so
it's
like
saying.
in another 222
years. 57,
Theoretically, in another 200.
sometime within the next 222 years.
So there's a consensus that something's going to happen then?
The Gemara's understanding is that is a very feasible possibility.
And that's based
Is
on
that
what?
that's based on a series of psukim. Gemara and Sanhedrin goes through a series of psukim that explains this. Does it mean? I mean, we've interpreted before in our history when Mashiach is going to come, and we've been wrong. So
I thought that's like the outer.
Those were times when Mashiach should have come. When something happened where,
okay.
They were also
6,000.
No, I mean to say there was. Yes, he didn't come those times, but that's not to say that those weren't the times that he could have come.
No, Mashiach could come anytime,
Anytime.
right? Mashiach could come anytime.
6,000 is the outer limit. That would be,
Right,
if
that's
we
the
can't
theory.
bring them here with our collective teshuvah until that time, that would be at that time, that would be the outer time.
Correct. And again,
Yeah,
there's
well,
no,
I'm gonna suffer.
I mean, we don't have a proof for this. This is just, it's a tradition that's accepted, right? Does it mean that, that we all need to sit there or forget us, but our great grandchildren, right? Does that mean that when it's 5,999, right, and it's Erev Rosh Hashanah,
That's it.
that's it? That's the
That's how
ballgame?
one of
I
your
don't know.
rabbis, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what's going to be, but or then they're going to have to come up with a different way of explaining this idea, right? So I don't know the answer to that
Do they
question.
need to predict it at all?
Well, they don't need to predict
Do
it.
they feel they have an obligation to? Or?
We say that Mashiach is going to come at one of two times. Either the time when he has been appointed to come, or earlier if we can bring him. Okay? So there's always a cheshbon to try to figure out when is the time when he's appointed to come. Because we're obviously not doing such a great job in bringing him. So what's the time when he's appointed to come? All right, so back to the Gemara. So what does the Gemara say? Gemara says that on Shabbos we say Mizmor Shel Yom Shabbos, Liyom Shekulo Shabbos. All right? Amar Rabbi Nechemya. Rabbi Nechemya says, Ma ra'u chachamim lechalek bein haprachim ha'elu. In other words, what was it that caused the chachamim to differentiate between these prachim? In other words, one parak for Sunday, one parak for Monday, and we've already learned that there's a reason why Chazal chose the particular parak for that particular day. In other words, whatever was relevant on that particular day of creation, in other words, the first Sunday of creation, right, the first Yom Rishon of creation, or the first Sunday of creation, there was a reason why we chose the Shir Shayom for that day, okay? So now the Gemara asks the question, Ma ra'u chachamim, what did the chachamim see? In other words, what was it within the chachamim that caused them to say that on Shabbos you should sing Mizmor Shir Liyam Shabbos and not any of the other prakim? In other words, maybe there are valid reasons to say what are some of the other prakim as well. Ma ra'u chachamim lachalek bein haprakim ha'elu. So it's interesting because if you look at Rashi's lashon is Ma ra'a Rabbi Akiva lachalek bein haparshios ha'elu, because the statement was made in the name of Rabbi Akiva, right? The statement above where we had all of the different Shir Shel Yoms was made in the name of Rabbi Akiva. That's what it said. Right. Second line, right? Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Akiva, Barishon Mai, right? So Rashi here interprets it, and there's an emendation to the Gemara that also wants to say Ma Ra'a Rabbi Akiva lechalek bein haparshios ha'elu. Says Rashi, Shekol sheishes yamin ne'emarim haprokim halalu al shem she'avar. Right? In other words, all of the 6 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're all based on things that occurred, things that already happened. However, the seventh day, the Shabbos, Mizmor Shel Yom Shabbos, what's that based on? Says Rashi, that is based on what will be in the future. So why was Rabbi Akiva machalek by saying the first 6 days we focus al shem ha'avar, and b'shel Shabbos al shem lahaba, what's going to be, which we said what's going to be in that 7th millennium. So answers the Gemara, Ella, but we understand it as follows. Ella barishon, on the first day, meaning that first Sunday of creation, shekana vehikna vishalit ba'olamo. What happened on that first day of creation? On the first day of creation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu acquired the world. Right? What does it mean he acquired the world? So on that first day of creation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into the world all of the potential to exist. In other words, there was nothing. Before Yom Rishon, there was nothing. Right? When Yom Rishon came, suddenly HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this potential to be the world. Everything was created on that day. Potential for everything was created on that day. That is why we say that on the first day, Shekana vihikna, and he acquired it, vihikna, and he gave it over. He didn't actually give it over to anybody because there was nobody to give it to yet, but he made it ready to be given over, right? He made it ready to be given over. V'shalit ba'olamo. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu ruled by himself. This doesn't mean he ruled by himself, but just ruled by himself. So because we say that the Malachim weren't created until the second day, right? On the second day, the Malachim were created. And when the Malachim were created, so then HaKadosh Baruch Hu had, if you will, those who were subservient to him. But on the first day, it was only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, we mentioned all of these, right above. So we have to see, why are we now going ahead and mentioning them again? B'sheni, what about on the second day? Shechilek ma'asav. What happened on the second day? HaKadosh Baruch Hu divided between the upper and the lower, right? Put a sky in place and divided between the upper and the lower. Shechilek, right, from the above and from the below. Umalach aleihem, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu ruled over them. Okay, B'shlishi, right, on the third day, Shegila Aretz b'chachmaso. HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed the earth, right, as we said, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did he do on the third day? He caused all the seas to recede and to gather together, and the earth appeared, right? The dry land appeared. V'hechin tevel la'adasa. And what did he do? He prepared, for everything to go forward from there. Because when this dry land was revealed, that set the stage for vegetation and ultimately for Adam. Baravi'i, on the fourth day, Shabara Chama Ulavan, on the fourth day, the sun and the moon was created. V'asi lipara me ovdehen. And what's going to happen in the end? Right, in the end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish those who worshipped the sun and the moon, rather than seeing the sun and the moon as agents of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There are going to be people who are going to worship the sun and the moon, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish them. Again, all of these things we mentioned already. Bashishi shegamar malachto amalach aleim b'shvi'i al shem sheshabbos, or al shem sheshavas. In other words, why don't we say that Shvi'i should be Al Shem Sheshavas? I mean,
it's fine. No.
Basically the things that we learned already, okay? So in other words, what is he saying? He's saying that if we're going to be consistent,
right.
So what's in Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbos? The fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu stopped creating, all right? The Kamifligi. But what happened? The kamifligi. Kamifligi means HaKadosh Baruch, right? It means that Rabbi Akiva differentiated. The kamifligi b'derav Ketina. Rabbi Akiva differentiated according to that which Rav Ketina said. The Amar Rav Ketina, because what does Rav Ketina say? Shisa alfei shane have alma. All right? 6,000 years, the world will exist. V'chad, and 1,000 years, charuv. What's going to happen? The world is going to be destroyed. 6,000 years, the world is going to exist, and 1,000 years, the world is going to be destroyed. Shenemer, as the pasuk says, v'niskav Hashem levado bayom hahu. Right, that Hashem will Niskav will be present alone by Yom Hahu, on that day. Which day? On the seventh day. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be alone by himself on the seventh day. The world will cease to exist.
He was alone on his first day.
What?
He was alone on the first day also.
No, but that goes against everything we've ever, what happened to all of us.
We're gone.
We're gone and we come back. After the seventh day is over.
We'll be apart for a long time. Maybe Shemayim, I'm not gonna do it.
And we'll be well rested.
Yes. No, I mean, but
In other words, based on what this is saying,
I thought this should,
go ahead.
Niskav Hashem Levado, I thought it was always that on the seventh day, that it was then everybody would realize.
right, everybody would
Hashem
worship
is the true
Hashem
God.
only.
Hashem God, it's only
Not that
then.
he'd be all alone
Not
without
that he'd
any
be
of
all
us.
alone without anybody else.
Almost like, why did he bother with all
Yeah,
this?
like so,
For
the
6,000
whole
years, we
thing
go
is
through all
Olam
this
Ha-
and then
the
destroy
whole
it.
thing is eternity. The whole
Right.
thing is Olam Haba.
Hmm.
However you want to look at that, Olam Haba, whatever that is.
The Gemara is looking for a source to substantiate that there will be 1,000 years when the world will not exist, the way we know it. And the Gemara is taking this pasuk, the Niskav Hashem Levado, to
Right, but
be
why
the
do they want that
source.
source? I mean, it's like they stated the conclusion and now they're trying to prove it. Why don't they back their way into it? The other way around. It
What do you
says this for that, in the seventh day Hashem will be alone, exalted by himself. It doesn't mean we won't exist, it just means no other God, no
Well,
other.
there are never any other.
Okay, but for us, but for a part of the world, there are all these other, there were sun gods, and totem poles, and whatever.
And is the world being destroyed for a reason that has been conjectured, or they just
It's part of the plan.
infer by these numbers that it's going to happen? I mean,
I don't think that we know
Then there's no
why.
world. What is
In other words,
it? Just amazing.
Yeah, well, where do we
Right.
go? Because he recreates it at the same time.
in other words, we don't know, right? We don't know what does it mean that the world. Right? What does it mean that the world is going to cease to exist for the way that we know it? I don't know. Does it mean that there
No more internet.
no more Earth, no more that it physically will stop? I don't think that's what it means, because the idea is that we will remain buried, right? People will die, we will remain buried, and then at the end of
For
that
1,000
time,
years, there won't be any life.
and that for 1,000 years there will only be a Kadosh Baruch
There
Hu.
won't be people walking around.
That's my understanding. That for 1,000 years there will just be a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and then when that 1,000-year period is over, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will hit the restart button, and
We're all coming
but
back.
is
the world
but
will
is that
restart
based
in
on
some way.
because whatever the state, he'll revive us after 2 days or 1 day. So because it says he's going to revive us after whatever 1 or 2 days, it infers that we're going to be kind of destroyed, before that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is it just based on this verse? That they assume it's going to happen
It's-
based on that interpretation of that
Correct.
verse?
It's based on the idea that there are 6 days of activity, and then there is a 7th day where there is no activity.
And
Right?
then
That's the cycle. 6 days of activity and a 7th day when there is no activity.
No,
If we
physical,
take
but
the
spiritual
days-
activity,
If we take the days and we translate them into 1,000-year periods,
So why do you need to do that? Though? Why do you need to extrapolate that? I mean,
And what happens on day 8?
I don't know, what do you mean, why do you need to extract?
well, I mean, why?
The Gemara, there was a
Yeah.
Mesorah,
Yeah.
that the Chachamim had a Mesorah, that the world would exist for 6,000 years.
And that's based on.
And that's based on this, in other words, what
Okay.
they're now looking for a source for this Mesorah, maybe something to hang their hats on.
Yeah.
To say, all right, now I understand why this, where this Mesorah came from. The fact that it's a Mesorah, right, became part of our tradition.
Right, but who says the 7th day rest means no further world?
In Yom Shekulo Shabbos, if I remember, was there a Rashi that says Yom Shekulo Shabbos means that everybody in order for
Mashiach
Shabbat
to
to have
come.
to exist for the world, the first Shabbat had to be a real Shabbat for everybody. So Shekulo, everybody who was animals, everything, everybody observed Shabbos.
Wasn't that the way to bring the Mashiach? It was like 2 Shabbos in a row, all Jews.
Correct.
Okay.
We haven't done that.
Obviously, I'm not.
Right? We haven't done that. You're asking how a Rashi that says what?
Yom Shekulo
What happened
Shabbos
at the end of the
was that
17th?
first Shabbos. The Shekulo means that
We'll go back
everything
to
and
work.
everybody that had been created observed Shabbos.
It's a thought.
For
Right.
I have to look it up. That's you.
So that you're going Alvar, right? You're saying that it got its name. So that's the middle of the discussion, right? That's what we're discussing right now. In other words, where did this come from? All right. So,
Are we supposed to believe that as a fact or just,
I'm saying it's not a very
I don't know,
heartwarming.
just
kind
have
of
interest
event.
that like.
are we
they
supposed
were
to
there
believe
talking-
it as a fact?
Yeah,
Who
We're
cares?
supposed to believe
oil
that
runs
this
out in
is the
150
tradition
years.
of the Chachamim. And do we believe that there's no other possible way to interpret it? I don't think so, right? But we believe that the Chachamim did interpret it this way. They did mean to interpret it this way. If after if we reach 6,001,
one day.
yeah, then we reinterpret it, or we
Then-
say they meant something else.
then it meant
Right.
something else. Correct.
Well, they were wrong, and well, he interpreted,
Okay. I mean, I know you're pushing for like a definitive
No, but
recipe, but,
some
you know.
things that Chachamim say we
discard.
no, well, and some things are real, dogma.
Right.
And I guess this is.
I don't think that this is in that category of real dogma. Okay. Okay.
I hope not.
So Rabbi Akiva.
Who cares about
So
that?
far, Rabbi Akiva said everything previously was for all of the first 6 days was for things that happened, and on the seventh day it's for something. It's for something that will be. Okay. V'nizgav Hashem levado bayam hu. Says the Gemara. Amar Abaye. Abaye says Trey charuv. Right. Abaye has a different interpretation. The very fact that we have a different interpretation here signifies that it's not dogma, because if it was dogma, there would be a different interpretation. Right? What is this different interpretation? This different interpretation says Trey Charuv. What is Trey Charuv?
2,000 years.
It'll be 2,000 years. In other words, it will be 6,000 years of existence as we know it, and then there will be 2,000 years of no existence as we know it. Right? 2,000. Now where is Abaye? Where is Abaye coming up with this? Shenemar, he's quoting the pasuk, and you have the pasuk in front of you at the bottom of the page, quoting the pasuk from Hosea, Yechayenu miyomayim, that he will keep us alive miyomayim for 2 days, right? He will keep us alive for 2 days. How did they translate it here? They say,
On the third day, he'll raise us up.
he will revive us. He will keep us. He will make us alive after 2 days, right? If he will make us alive after 2 days, what happens? So that means 2 days in a Kadosh Baruch Hu's lexicon are 2,000 years, right? The 2,000 years. So based on this, right? What do we say based on this? We understand that based on this, that there's a machlokus between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Nehemiah as to how to understand. Rabbi Akiva holds that the world will be destroyed for 1,000 years, and that 1,000 years is the Yom Shekulo Shabbos. On the other hand, Rabbi Nehemiah holds that the world will be destroyed for 2,000 years. So if the world will be destroyed for 2,000 years, then there is no Yom Shekulo Shabbos, because that would be only a 1,000-year period. So Rabbi Nehemiah has to go back and look at it and say that the Shir Shel Yom for Shabbos is not for something that will be, but rather for something that was. Right? In other words, we began with Rabbi Nehemiah saying that the Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos is for something that was. Along comes Rabbi Akiva and says, no, it's for something that will be. What's the machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Nehemiah? The machlokas is whether or not they hold by the statement of Rabbi Katina. In other words, Rabbi Akiva held by the statement of Rabbi Katina that 6,000 years the world will function, for 1,000 years the world will be destroyed. That's the Yom Shekulo Shabbos. The Yom is 1,000 years. Rabbi Nehemiah did not hold by that. He held by the interpretation of this pasuk of Yechayenu miyomayim, meaning that Kadosh Baruch Hu will bring us back to life after 2,000 years. Well, it's after life after 2,000 years, so then the whole future business is out, and we have to say Mizmor Shel Yom Shabbos for what was. Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean destroyed, right? It could just be held in abeyance for 1,000
It won't be the
years.
way we understand.
Our concept of the world will be destroyed.
Our concept.
It doesn't mean that the world will physically be destroyed.
It just means what we.
Our concept of the world will be destroyed.
It's almost open. It could be
As well as I know it, I won't be.
I know that,
something other than what we know.
Correct.
I mean, I know it's not because to say that the true measure of man is man, or that's how we met. But in the absence of man, time is meaningless because so this argument, this discussion is
Right.
meaningless. I mean, what is, it's not even like, the arguments about, in the days of creation, there was 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years or whatever it was, because at least something existed. But here now we're talking about the non-existence of anything, and then,
Well, but it's not non-existence. It's just existence different than what we
but
understand.
it's immeasurable.
Maybe it's,
There's
maybe it's non-corporeal, maybe.
there's a clock that's ticking and.
Well, yes, and somebody's got, some atomic clock.
So I think you have to-
check
so
it
look,
out.
I think you have to be careful, right? I think you have to, we're so used to trying to analyze and critique, everything that we learn in the Gemara, that we're taking our skills that we would use to dissect an opinion, a machlokas between Rav and Abaye, and we're using it to try to darshan, what does it mean? We have no idea what it means. The bottom line is we have no idea what it means. We have this tradition, we have this Masorah, we can say the words, but we really have no idea what it means. I mean, theoretically, you're all right? Eddie's right that if people are not around, if there's no people around, if there are no,
What's the measure of time?
humanity's not around, then what is this? Like, what is
I just wonder
time?
if they knew what it meant in the context of like,
Well,
is
Moshe
it a
Rabbeinu
metaphor? Is it just a?
Moshe Rabbeinu wrote
Moshe Rabbeinu wrote what?
the Hillim, this part, this section. This is from 90
Oh,
to,
no,
Okay,
Rabbi
so-
quote is coming from.
no, but 90 to 100 is written by Moshe Rabbeinu.
Okay,
Like
so
10 of them were written by Moshe Rabbeinu, 10 of them written by Adam Moshe. I don't remember which that.
go ahead.
So Moshe Rabbeinu,
It doesn't necessarily mean that Moshe Rabbeinu had the
Knew what he was
understanding of the different ways for this to be interpreted. The whole story in the Gemara that says Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting in the back of class when Rabbi Akiva was teaching. And he was explaining what the different tagin meant on top of the letters. And it was Halacha Moshe Sinai. Moshe had no idea what he was talking about. Right? So we don't know. We don't know what it is. And yes, even if these Tehillim were written by Moshe Rabbeinu, that's not, right? That's not going to,
no, it says in the back anything.
right? Okay, let's go. So we are continuing, So we know that these Tehillim were the Tehillim that were said with the Tamid Shel Shachar every morning, But we also know, we learned that in addition to saying Tehillim with the Tamid Shel Shachar, there were also Tehillim that were said at the Tamid Shel Bein HaArbayim that we don't have a record of, and there were also Tehillim that were said at the Karban Musaf, because we know the Leviim sang when it came to the Karban Musaf as well. So the Gemara is now going to ask that question. The Musvei de Shabbata, right, on the Karban Musaf of Shabbos, Ma hayu omrim. Right, we know what they said on Sunday with the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar. We know what they said on Thursday with the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar. We know what they said on Shabbos morning with the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar. But what did they say on Shabbos when they brought the Karban Musaf? So Amar Rav Anan bar Rava, Amar Rav. So Rav Anan bar Rava says in the name of Rav, they said Chaziv Lach.
Which is translated on.
Okay, what is chaziv lach? Okay, so
31A3.
all right, so chaziv lach is an abbreviation, right? And if you want, so look at Rashi explains it. Look at Rashi.
31A3.
We're 31A3,
Right, three.
If
correct?
you look at 3, it's it's written out there.
Right, 31A3.
But isn't that it in the margin? Next to
says-
tomorrow.
He said, what are you looking at?
See, isn't that this little,
Oh, here.
Well,
Isn't
it
that
says it in reference 24.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Ha'azinu, Zachor.
Right there it is explained,
I
correct.
mean, that's what it means.
That's what each letter refers
Stands
to.
for,
That's it, right. So let's look at Rashi. Let's go through it with Rashi.
Mnemonic or something?
All right, it's a mnemonic, correct. Haziv lach. Let's go through it with Rashi.
Oh,
Parshas Shiras Ha'azinu. So the first thing with the Hey stands for Ha'azinu, right? Parshas Ha'azinu. Cholkim Osa the Shisha Prakim, right? So Parshas Ha'azinu is divided up into 6 prakim. Harishon starts with the word Ha'azinu, which is the very first word of the parsha. Hasheni starts with the phrase Zachor Yemos Olam, okay, which is only a few psukim later. Hashlishi, that's the Yud, Yarkivehu al b'mose aretz. Haravi'i, which is a vav again, is Vayar Hashem Vayinatz, right? So Ad Kan Shisha Psukim, right? These are the 6 divisions of the Ha'azinu up until this point. And if you look in the little box, well, could be a little box, that's exactly what you have. Ha'azinu, Zachor, Yarkivehu, Vayar, right? Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 4, and now the remaining 2. Umikan v'elach, says Rashi, from here on, in other words, from the end of that on, Shmona psukim leperek chamishi, right? That takes us to Lule Ka'as Oyev, and then Hashishi Ki Yadin Hashem Amo. So all of these, what each letter refers to is the beginning of the particular parak. The beginning of the particular parak. Maybe you have it on your phones. You have Azino on your phone. You can look it up and see the beginning of the. Now, so what is the idea here? So the idea here is that when they brought the Karban Musaf of Shabbos, they would sing these particular passages, okay? Now, if you look here in note 24, you see that there are a lot of different interpretations as to what this Haziv Lach stands for, all right? We have one of them, that's Rashi's interpretation, but there are different interpretations as well as to precisely what Haziv Lach referred to. But what was this idea of Haziv Lach? That when they brought the Karbanos Musaf, or the Musfei Shel Shabbos, so they sang these 6 prakim. Basically, all of Ha'azinu, all of Parshas Ha'azinu, or the majority of Parshas Ha'azinu. The Amar Rav Chanan bar Rava, Amar Rav, Kederech shechalukim kan, kach chalukim bebeis haKnesses. The way in which Parshas Ha'azinu was divided up in their singing the Shira when the Karban Musaf was brought, that's the way that Parshas Ha'azinu is divided up in Shul, in the Beis HaKnesses. What does it mean in the Beis HaKnesses? Right, in the Beis HaKnesses, the way we divide it for Alios. Rashi says, Kach korin osa shisha korin b'sefer Torah, v'hashvi'i korei min hashira olahala. Right, so these 6 prakim are the way we divide up the Alios on Shabbos morning of Parshas Ha'azinu, and number 7 reads from Hashira Hazos until the very end. Okay. B'mincha de Shabbasa, or b'minchosa de Shabbasa mahayu omrim. So we also learned that not only was there a Shira that was sung with the Tamid Shel Shachar, but there was also a shira that was sung at the Tamid Shel Bein Ha'arbayim. So what is that? So the Gemara talks about what?
Shabbos Mincha.
Well, it's right. Shabbos. When it says Shabbos Mincha, it means the Karban Mincha on, not the Karban Mincha. A Karban Mincha. A Karban Mincha is a flour offering, a grain offering. Right here, we're talking about the Karban that the Tamid Shel Bein Ha'arbayim, which is our source for Mincha, but it's not Mincha per se. Right? Mahayu Omri, what did they say? So Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Oz Yashir Umicha Mocha. Right? What did they say? Oz Yashir Umicha Mocha the Oz Yashir. Right? These were the sections that they said. Right? These from the Shir HaSayam. These were the sections that they said. So Ibayi Luhu. So they asked. So the following question was asked. Hani kulhu bechad shabasa amre luhu o dilma kol shabasa b'shabasa amre chad. What did we say?
They said all of it on every Shabbos.
In other words, we said that for the Karban Musaf, how many prakim were said? Haziv lach. For the
Six.
Karban Musaf, Haziv lach, 6. Does that mean they said all 6
every
prakim
Shabbos.
every Shabbos? Or maybe they
Said one
had
every
an order.
Shabbos for 6
In other words,
weeks.
first Shabbos they said Ha'azinu. Then the second Shabbos they said the second. And right, third Shabbos, and when they got to the 6th Shabbos, the 7th Shabbos, they were starting again with the cycle. Right? So what did they do? So Tashma, come in here. Let's see if we can figure it out. The Sanya, we learn the following in a brisa. Amar Rabbi Yossi says, Ad Shaharishona Omeres Achas Shnia Choseres Shtayim. What are we referring to here? So let's go to Rashi at the top of the page. Here, it's interesting. We have Rashi continuing on to the top of the column, which would generally be where Tosfos is. There is no Tosfos on this Gemara for obvious reasons, because it's not, it's not meaty Talmudic kind of reasoning which is going on here. So what do we say? So we say as follows: Ad Shaharishona Shiras Hamusafim Choseres Chalila Pam Achas. What is a Choseres Chalila Pam Achas? What does that mean?
Go back to the meeting.
No, we say once.
I was there. It's to go over, right? To repeat.
Right?
Repeat it once.
Shiras Hamusafin Choseres Chalila Pam Achas. In other words, is right. How did we say it? Right. So according to this opinion, it was said, right. It was right. Rabbi Yossi's opinion was Ad Shaharishona Omeres Achas. Right. What does it mean? Ad Shaharishona Omeres Achas.
Once a week for 6 weeks.
No, the first week
And,
they were
so,
there
and
the
then when
first
you
one
got back to
twice.
the first one a second time,
What do you mean?
odd share, and until the first one, right? Odd means until, Rishona is the first. Is he saying that on week 1 you said 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5?
No, I
then
think
6?
what he's saying is what he's saying is like this. He's saying that on the first week
Right,
you said number 1.
right.
On the second Shabbos
You said 1 and 2.
you said 2 twice. On the third Shabbos you said 3
Right.
3 times, thrice.
Right.
On the fourth Shabbos you said 4
4 times.
thanks. Right? A chacham, right? Right? You said, right? Thrice, right? You said, right? You said, right? So Tashma, so learn from the Shema Mino, Kol Shabasa v'Shabasa Amre Chad Shema Mino. In other words, you said 1 each Shabbos.
Just how many
But
times you said it.
The question was how many times you said it. On the first Shabbos of the cycle, you said the first one once.
What- okay.
On the second Shabbos of the cycle, you said the second one 2 times. V'chule, v'chule, v'chule.
And on the 7th Shabbos, you said the first one
First one
once.
once,
and then you said the
correct.
whole thing
That's
all
correct. Right. So that's the answer. Okay. So interestingly, So, Amrechat, Shmamina. Amar Rav Yehuda. So we're at the bottom of the gray bar now, 31A3, about to turn on to 31A4. So Amar Rav Yehuda Bar Idi, Amar Rav Yochanan, Eser Masaos Nosa Shchina, right? That the Shchina made 10 stops, right? The Shechina took 10 stops during the time of the first Beis Hamikdash. Correct. Ukenegdan Galsa Sanhedrin, and as in a corresponding to the 10 stops that the Shechina made, the Sanhedrin was exiled 10 times as well. Okay, so look at Rashi.
How can you be exiled more than once?
Further and further away.
Because it's not. I mean, once
Right.
the temple was destroyed, they were exiled.
Right, further and further. We'll see. It's a good question. We'll see. So first of all, what does it mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made 10 stops? What does that mean? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made 10 stops. Was it going somewhere that they need to make 10 stops? So look at Rashi. Eser Masaos, right? Nasa Shchina lihistalek me'al Yisrael ma'at kishechatu. In other words, we talk about 10 stops. We're talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu moving further away from the Jewish people. Whereas first we sinned, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, "Okay, I'm going to the balcony." Right? Then we sinned again. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, "Okay, I'm going to the."
The Shekinah extricated in stages, in 10 stages.
Withdrew, basically.
Correct. That's like thrice.
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu pulled himself further and further away from us, and that's generally how we say the Shekhinah moves away from us. And the HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just abandon us all at once, right? But we cause the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence to move, to move away from us slowly.
That's from the first base of it.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So what do we say? So we say, and as a result of that, as a result of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's 10 steps or 10 stages or 10 levels of withdrawing from Bnei Yisrael, so Galsa Sanhedrin, so the Sanhedrin was exiled also 10 times. Look at, where is it? Okay. So look at note number 33, all right? So here we say that the Sanhedrin declined, right, a little bit each time, right? The Maharsha contends that although the Gemara below details only the Sanhedrin exiles at the second destruction, there were also 10 corresponding exiles at the first destruction. We're going to see how these, what these steps were. The Gemara is now going to go through each of these steps. So what is
it's like the Shemona Esrei is like a prayer to reverse this whole extrication, this whole removal, this whole exile.
Why do you say that?
Because we're asking for like the restoration of judges, that Hashem, that she can be restored to us, and that our sacrifice, our korban will be received again.
Okay.
Accepted again.
All right. Well, let's see how we understand these exiles, if you will. Okay. So, Eser Masaos Nasa Shchina Mikrai. All right. Kadosh Baruch Hu's 10 stages of extrication, we'll call them. Okay. 10 stages of extrication in Larry's honor. Mikapores Likruv. From the Kapores, what was the Kapores? Kapores was the cover of the Aron Kodesh. Okay, so we say that the Shechina was found literally at the cover of the Aron Kodesh. That Kadosh Baruch Hu took his presence and shrunk his presence, if you will, to that spot of the Kapores, the cover of the Aron Kodesh, and from there it went to the Kruv. What was the Kruv? The cherub, right? The cherubs.
The two cherubs.
Umi Kruv.
No, just one.
The Kruv. From one went to the other one, right? from one one to the other one. Umikruv lemiftan. What's the miftan?
The threshold.
Okay, the threshold of what? Of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. The threshold of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Umimiftan lo chotzer. And from the threshold, where did it go? Outside into the courtyard. Umichotzer lemizbeach. From the courtyard to the mizbeach. Umimizbeach lagag. To the roof. Umigag lachoma. To the wall. Umichoma la'ir. To the city. Umeir lahar. And from the city to the mountain. We're talking about here the mountain of Har HaMoriah. Umehar lamidbar. And from the mountain to the midbar. Umi midbar alsa v'yashva b'mekoma. And what happened? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that was it. That number 10 was from the midbar. So the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, withdrew, moved further and further away from the heart of the Jewish people. Shene'emar, as the pasuk says, Elech ashuva el mikomi. Right? That what? I will go, I will go, and I will return el mikomi, right, to my place. I will return to my place. So now we're going to look at what's our source for each of these specific steps. Mikapores lekruv, mikruv lekruv, umikruv lemiftan. Right? From the kapores to one kruv, from one kruv to the other kruv, from the other kruv to the miftan, to the threshold. So where do we see this? Dichsiv, because the pasuk says, "V'no'adati l'chasham," right? I will make myself known to you there. V'dibarti itcha me'al ha'kapores, and I will speak to you from the kapores. Uchsiv, and then it says, "Vayirkav al kruv vaya'af." What happened? Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? It sat on the kruv and floated, if you flew, right? Floated, if you will. Uksiv, that's the second stage. That's on the kaporis to the kruv. Uksiv uchvod did I skip? Uksiv uchvod Elokei Yisrael na'ale me'al hakruv asher haya alav. Right? So the next pasuk says it went from the kruv and it went to the other kruv. El miftan, right? Habayis. Umi miftan lochatzer dechsiv v'yimale habayis es he'anan v'hachatzer mala es noga. I'm sorry, es noga kvod Hashem mechatzer lemizbeach. How do we know that it went from the chatzer to the mizbeach? Dechsiv, because the pasuk says, I'm just trying to run through this. Ra'isi es Hashem nitzav al hamizbeach umi mizbeach lagag. How do we know it went to the gag? Dechsiv tov lasheves al pinas gag. Migag lachoma dechsiv hinei Hashem nitzav al chomas incha mechoma la'ir dechsiv kol Hashem la'ir yikra umeir lahar dechsiv ayal kol Hashem me'al toch ha'ir v'ya'amad al hahar asher mikedem la'ir umehar lamidbar dechsiv, as the pasuk says, it should be umeir lamidbar, right? Because it went from the har to the ear, from the walls, from the walls,
city to the
correct. Mehar lamidbar dechsiv tov shabas ba'aretz midbar umimidbar al savi yashva b'mekoma dechsiv elech ashuva el mekomi. So in other words, all of these psukim indicate these steps that the Shechina took, moving away from Klal Yisrael.
And the sources are mostly Nevi'im.
And the sources are Nevi'im, right? Sources are Nevi'im. Correct.
And nation.
Yeah.
But mostly Nevi'im.
Again, this is more Agadata,
This is the second base of Mikdash.
right? Well, there's the machlok. Right? If you saw like the note,
but
the note says
psukim relate to the
the
second,
psukim relate to the second case.
and they're saying the same thing happened.
They're saying the same thing happened in the first.
The
All right?
psukim are actually written about
Correct.
the Chorban.
Correct. So the important, this is Agadata, and it's important and it's nice. It's not as meaty as some of the things that we've learned. So You know,
And
I'm
it
not,
really
I'm
means they
not,
don't know what they sang.
I'm not challenging
They
you.
don't know what the Levium sang at Mincha, Ben Arabayim, whatever, on Shabbos. That's the bottom line.
But there was no
I don't
other
know.
on the second.
Whoa. What do you mean they don't know? Well, they do know.
They know what song they sang, Shabbos, Ben,
Yeah, that-
Ben Arabayim?
Yeah. That was the,
That's what, I know, I thought they started by saying, we asked, okay, we know what they sang in the morning. What did they sing in the
we
afternoon?
said.
That's what you said. That's what I heard.
No, we said.
I
Hazim.
heard your way.
Right, that they didn't know. We're trying to figure out, so what did they say in the afternoon? Somebody came along and said no.
Yeah,
No.
Rosh and all that, yeah.
Right,
This
right,
is for the
earlier
Musaf.
on.
Isn't this for the Musaf?
You know, this is Ben, no, Musaf we
No,
spoke about.
Musaf we took. Musaf
Did they
we
know
took.
what they
That's
said?
Hazina.
Do we have to share Hayom for Musaf?
No, but that's what it says here, right? It says we don't say, we don't have a share shayom for Musaf. We don't.
Do we have it? Forget about whether we say it.
We have Ha'azinu. That was
All right,
the,
so that's what they, and do we have this share for Carbon Tamid Ben Harabayim?
B'musfei de Shabbos Mahayu Omrim. So Amar Rav Anan Bar Rava Amar Rav. Hazivla.
That's an
Hazivla.
opinion. but
They
that's
said
not
Hazivla.
necessarily-
Then they wanted to know, right? The Amar Rav Hanan, right? Amar Rav Kederach Shechokim. Kan kach chalukim beis. Okay.
Right.
So b'mincha de Shabbos Mahayu Omrim. What did they say? Mincha. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan Oz Yashir Umicha Mocha Bi Oz Yashir.
Right, so, and then so
So Ibayilu, then they asked the question, Hani Kule Bechad, did they say all at one time?
right,
Meaning by the Musaf?
okay, right.
But at Mincha they said Oz Yashir or Micha Mocha Oz Yashir. I mean we don't do these things, but we
No, I
know
understand, but we
we
know
have
they
these
say Haz
sources.
Yashir, Micham, Haz Yashir.
we have these sources. Now what's interesting, the Gemara does not talk about what about the Musaf
The rest
of Rosh Chodesh? What about the Musaf of Yom Tov?
Right.
Right? You know, what about all of these different things? What did they sing? We don't have a
No
record of
idea.
that. We don't have a record of that. We have the Musaf. We know what they sang at the Musaf of Shabbos. That occurred all the time, right? But it seems that we don't have the details of what they sang at the Shabbos. Okay. Okay, we're going to stop here. Hold on a second. Okay, so for today, we might as well stop here because we're not going to reach the Mishnah, much as I would want to. Okay, we'll stop here for today. Yeah, it's afterwards. We'll stop here for today. We'll pick up next week. We'll get to the Mishnah and get through the Mishnah. So
Next week is with me.
next week you're not here, right?
No.
And 2 weeks he's not here, but
2
I'm
weeks,
not
because
either.
I'm coming back about 7 o'clock in the evening.
So maybe for the next 2 weeks we'll be at Ron. So
Right.
in case you get
No, you can't be here.
Yeah,
It'll be
you can
next
be
week.
next week, but I'm not here.
Then he's not going to be around.
we have a volunteer for the third week.
22nd. 15th is next week. You can be at me.
Wait, when is Ben Azmani? When is Yeshiva break?
That's the week of the 22nd.
Okay, so the week of Yeshiva break, I don't think we're going to have. So we
Right,
might
because
be.
that's the week
So
I'm
then
away.
we
So we
have
might
to
be
come
off the
back
hook.
here.
So
Okay.
next week will be at me.
Next
and
week at
3
Ron,
weeks,
then we'll take a break,
and
And then
3
we come
weeks
back.
will
and
be
then
back
we'll be
here.
back here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.